This is the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. I am Manoj Mainkar, and in the next half hour, I'll bring to you news updates from India and around the world, awareness videos on coronavirus by Government of India, and a lot more. We'll begin with the news updates.
This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. Namaskar. The news snippets. Read by Maria Albina Michael. 21,58,946 people have recovered from COVID-19 in the country till now. In the past 24 hours, 62,282 people have recovered. The recovery rate is now at a healthy 74.30%. During the last 24 hours, 8,05,985 tests for COVID-19 were conducted in the country. More than 3.2 crore people have been tested till now. The 18th meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination, WMCC, on India-China border affairs took place on Wednesday. The two sides had candid and in-depth exchange of views on the existing situation in the border areas. They agreed to resolve the outstanding issues in the western sector in an expeditious manner in accordance with existing agreements and protocols. The Niti Aayog, Atal Innovation Mission and Business Sweden are collaborating on ways to increase the potential of Indian entrepreneurs and to boost the vibrant startup ecosystem across the country. Varanasi has been ranked the best Ganga town and Hyderabad the best mega city in the Swachh Sarvekshan 2020. 9 people are trapped in a power station due to a fire mishap. All the 9 persons are employees of the Sri Salem hydroelectric power project in Telangana. No casualties have been reported. In Andhra Pradesh, 14 persons were hospitalized after ammonia gas leaked from a milk dairy unit in Chittoor district. An inquiry has been ordered into the incident. France has seen a spike of 4,700 new COVID-19 cases in a day. Restrictions are already on in cities like Paris and Marseille, Spain, Italy and Germany. 2 have seen a steep rise in new cases. More than 250,000 people have died due to coronavirus in Latin America. Brazil is the worst affected country in the continent. Peru and Argentina have reported huge fall in the death rates. Russia would start advanced trials involving 40,000 people for its COVID-19 vaccine. Russia had declared that it has registered the world's first COVID-19 vaccine. And that is the end of the news snippets. This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. We now bring you a special film-based program from our archives.
The single sweet singing voice listened to by several generations of Indians since the country's independence in 1947 has undoubtedly been that of Lata Mangeshkar. Although she started singing at the young age of 13 in 1942, it actually began 5 years later that her real journey onto the road of fame began. Recognized as India's Nightingale, she has been the recipient of many awards and honorifics, including in particular the country's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, as well as the top Indian cinema-related laurels, the Dadasaheb Phalke Award, etc. She was also a nominated member of the Rajya Sabha for a 6-year term. The government of Madhya Pradesh, the state in which she was born at Indore on the 28th of September 1929, has in her honor instituted the Lata Mangeshkar Puraskar, which is conferred every year on some distinguished musician or singer. A similar award has also been launched by the government of Maharashtra, the state in which she has been a resident since long. She never fails to stir patriotic chords of millions of Indians whenever she sings the well-known dirge "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logon Zara Aankh Mein Bhar Lo Pani," which was written by Pradeep after the Chinese aggression of 1962 and set to music by C. Ramachandra. Similarly, her compatriots also experience a soothing and unifying impact by her devoutly and melodiously rendered secular prayer song Allah Tero Naam Ishwar Tero Naam from the film Hum Dono in 1962. This song was penned by Sahir Ludhianvi and embellished with music by Jaydev. The effect of Ae Mere Watan Ke Logon when Lata first rendered it sonorously in the national, now Dhyanchand Stadium in New Delhi on February the 27th, 1963 was such that the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru as well as the thousands of others present there became teary-eyed. The song resurfaced during the Kargil War as a symbol of India's national pride. Lata also sang it in the historic Central Hall of Parliament in New Delhi on the 15th of August 1997 as a part of the celebrations of the Golden Jubilee of the attainment of India's independence. Lata reached the pinnacle of her success not by any easy route but after a long and arduous struggle, first to reach the zenith and then to maintain that position for long. She was lucky to have been born in an ambience which was particularly conducive to the flowering of her talent for singing. She was initiated into music by her classically trained father, Master Dinanath Mangeshkar, who was a celebrated singer-actor of the Marathi stage and owner of a drama studio at Sangli, where the family was then located. When only 6, she detected and corrected a flawed note rendered by one of her father's students, whom he used to teach classical music at his residence within the earshot of Lata. Noticing his precocious daughter's keen perception of music, Master Dinanath started honing her talent at the tender age and recommended to her the singing style of the great Kundan Lal Sehgal, his most favourite singer. She then sang on the stage a few songs, including those originally rendered by Sehgal, and won prizes. Since then, Lata nursed an avid admiration for Sehgal, whose style, she said, accompanied her throughout her singing career. In 1992, on completion of 50 years of her singing career, she brought out a 2-volume audio cassette set titled Shraddhanjali as a tribute to the immortals of Hindi film music, giving pride of place to Sehgal by recording the maximum number of his hauntingly melodious songs such as Soja Rajkumari Soja and Main Kya Janu Kya Jadoo Hai, both from the film Zindagi 1940. When she was 9, she was giving stellar singing performances on the stage and at 11 topped in a music competition organized in Kolhapur by Pancholi Art Pictures of Lahore and won 2 prizes. Master Dinanath gravitated from the drama stage to filmmaking but suffered huge losses in his very first celluloid venture. This broke his heart and he fell ill and died in 1942, leaving behind his wife Sudhmati, the eldest daughter Lata, who was not even 13 then, and her younger siblings Meena, Asha, Usha and Hridaynath in a state of extreme indigence and deprivation. Thus compelled, Lata started singing and acting in films by debuting in the Marathi comedy Pahili Manglagaur of Master Vinayak, the father of actress Nanda. Her first Hindi song was for Vasant Zoglekar's Aapki Seva Mein 1947. She also acted in Master Vinayak's Marathi film Chimkula Sansar 1943 and Hindi pictures Badi Ma 1945, Jeevan Yatra and Subhadra both 1946 and Mandir 1948. When Master Vinayak moved to Mumbai, the Mangeshkar family also shifted there. It was in Mumbai that she learnt further music from Ustads Aman Ali Khan Bhindi Bazar Wale and Amanat Khan Devas Wale and Pandit Tulsi Das, a disciple of the famous classical vocalist Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab. In Badi Ma, Lata worked closely with the then reigning singing heroine Noor Jahan, later known as Malika-e-Tarannum or Melody Queen, and instinctively adopted her as a role model female singer. After the country's partition in 1947, Noor Jahan migrated to Pakistan, leaving the singing arena open for Lata, the singing star Suraya and other female playback singers like Amir Bai Karnataki, Zora Begum of Ambala, Shamshad Begum, Rajkumari, Parul Ghosh, Hamida Bano, Sitara Bai of Kanpur and Meena Kapoor. There was also the young Geeta Roy, later Dutt, who too like Lata was evolving as a popular singer. Lata was discovered as a singer by Master Ghulam Haidar of Khazanchi 1941 fame, who visualized prophetically, as it proved later, her as the most resplendent future star of the subcontinent's music firmament. He even recorded a duet of Lata with Madan Mohan for the Filmistan's Shaheed 1948, but producer Subodh Mukherjee did not include that song in the film. With master Ghulam Haidar's music, she, however, sang her first Hindi song Dil Mera Toda Kahin Na Choda in Majboor 1948. In 1949, three of Lata's films, Mahal, Aayega Aane Wala, Andaz, Darna Mohabbat Kar Le and Barsat Jiya Beqarar Hai, all of which had lilting numbers scored by Khemchand Prakash, Naushad and Shankar Jaikishan respectively, zoomed her to great heights above all her peers, and gradually every music director of note wanted only her to sing for him. For some time, Lata sang in Noor Jahan style like the song Bahare Phir Bhi Aayengi Magar Tum Hum Juda Honge, Lahore 1949, with the music scored by Shyam Sundar, who besides Anil Biswas, C. Ramchandra and some other music composers wanted her to sing in the same mold, but later she freed herself from that syndrome and shone on her own steam. In the beginning of her career, her voice was considered rather thin and shrilly, but later it mellowed, became dense and particularly melodious. Pandit Husn Lal of the brother composers duo Husn Lal Bhagat Ram helped her improve her accent. Naushad taught her how to read a song, while Anil Biswas guided her about taking a breath during the singing of a song. With her emergence as the most popular female singer, music directors vied with each other to present their best through her vocal skills, and she sang dexterously hit songs after hit songs of all genres that have become a part of India's rich cultural heritage. She is an unprecedentedly prolific singer who has rendered songs in many languages. A random illustrative selection of her most memorable Hindi songs would include प्यार किया तो डरना क्या from Mughal Azam in 1960, घर आया मेरा परदेसी आवारा 1951, आजा रे परदेसी मधुमती 1958, आपकी नजरों ने समझा प्यार के काबिल मुझे अनपढ़ 1962, कहीं दीप जले कहीं दिल 20 साल बाद 1962, ये जिंदगी उसी की है अनारकली 1953, जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा ताजमहल 1963, पिया तो से नैना लागे रे गाइड 1965, दीदी तेरा देवर दीवाना फ्रॉम हम आपके हैं कौन 1994, सुन साहिबा सुन राम तेरी गंगा मैली 1985, लारा लप्पा लाई रखड़ा एक थी लड़की 1949, जब जब तुम्हें बुलाया तुम और याद आए जहां आरा 1962, मंडोले मेरा तंडोले नागिन 1954, तुम क्या जानो तुम्हारी याद में हम कितना रोए शिनशिना की बबलाबू 1952 and हाय जिया रोए मिलन 1958. Lata Mangeshkar is religious, secular and charitable by disposition and has donated from time to time large portions of her earnings for laudable social causes. She has founded 2 schools and a college, and along with the other members of her family has opened and is running the state-of-the-art Pandit Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital in Pune. As illustrated, her meaningfully worded and soulfully rendered songs have brought together the people of India irrespective of their caste, creed and religion and region. She has missed on marriage but spent a major part of her life doting on her siblings' children who also in turn love and respect her. Thankfully, though now approaching her mid-80s, she has by and large been maintaining a stable health and taking keen interest in music, cricket and photography. May this arrangement continue unhampered for long. That is the earnest wish of her numerous friends and fans.
You were listening to a special film-based program from our archives. This program came to you from the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.
We now present today's commentary entitled India-Bangladeshi Ties on the Upswing, scripted by Dr. Smriti S. Patnaik, Research Fellow, IDSA. India's Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla was on a 2-day visit to Dhaka. He carried Prime Minister Modi's message for Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The Indian Foreign Secretary was personally received by her. He is the first foreign dignitary that she has received after many months given the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. Bilateral exchanges between New Delhi and Dhaka in the last few months were conducted through virtual meetings. Given the fact that South Asian economies are severely affected by the pandemic and the visit assumes significance, the Indian Foreign Secretary also met with Bangladesh's Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen, State Minister Foreign Affairs Shahriar Alam, and Foreign Secretary Masood bin Momen during his visit. During the hour-long meeting between Indian Foreign Secretary and Bangladesh Prime Minister, both the countries discussed the ways and means to restart the existing connectivity network, cooperate and update each other on the development of COVID-19 vaccine, and jointly conclude the ongoing Mujib Horsho celebrations. They also discussed shaping up the post-COVID-19 strategy for overcoming economic challenges that the two countries are facing. India also proposed to restart the Joint Consultative Council, which is at the level of foreign ministers that oversees various Indian-funded projects in Bangladesh and discusses various bilateral issues between the two countries. India has proposed a virtual meeting to restart the process since they last met in February 2019. India has also proposed to create an air bubble between the two countries to facilitate the visits of businessmen, government officials, and those seeking medical treatment in India. It needs to be mentioned here that Bangladesh topped the list of countries whose citizens come for medical treatment in India. Bangladesh also discussed the scope for trials of the Indian vaccine for coronavirus in Bangladesh. Dhaka is discussing this matter with other countries of the world in its effort to fight the pandemic. In July, India took several steps to normalize trade relations with Bangladesh, which has been affected by COVID-19. After more than 2 months of closure due to the coronavirus pandemic, cross-border trade between the two countries resumed in June. India handed over 10 diesel locomotives to Bangladesh under its Grant Assistance Program. There were many firsts in India-Bangladesh relations in the month of July. The first trial voyage of a container ship from Kolkata to Agartala and Karimganj via the Chittagong port. Since its stoppage 55 years ago, carrying a large cargo of steel bars and pulses was conducted. The first timetabled and electronically sealed rig of 50 operated from Guntur in Andhra Pradesh to Binapol in Bangladesh, carrying chilies and fabrics. Parcel vans and containers have now been added to the existing modes of transportation. One of Dhaka's major concerns has been the presence of Rohingyas refugees in Bangladesh. Time and again, Dhaka has brought this to India's attention and has emphasized the larger regional security implications due to the presence of these displaced people. Dhaka has requested India to use her good offices for impressing upon Myanmar to take care of Rohingya refugees. India has been supportive of Dhaka's effort and has underlined through various statements that Myanmar needs to take back the Rohingyas. New Delhi also supports an early and safe repatriation of Rohingyas with dignity. To facilitate their return, India gifted 250 prefabricated houses which were built as part of an agreement with Myanmar. India also supplied aid to Rohingyas living in Bangladeshi refugee camps under operation in Saniat. It is not surprising that the relationship has been defined as Shonali Adhyay, Golden Age, by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and is held as a role model in the region by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. This sentiment has been reciprocated to by Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen, who defined Bangladesh's ties with India are historic, rock-solid and as blood relations. The Indian Foreign Secretary's visit to Bangladesh during the COVID-19 situation only underlines the strength of the bilateral ties.
Now, I am going to teach you some yogic practices to reduce stress and enhance lung functions. First practice, hands in and out breathing, hands parallel to the ground. Take a deep breath in, open your arms. Breathe out and come back. Synchronize your body with the breath. Do this for 10 counts. Next practice, hand stretch breathing. Interlock the fingers on your chest. Breathe in, breathe out. Do this at 90 degree, then do this at 135 degree. And then do the same practice at 180 degrees. Do these practice each for 5 counts, then come to sitting position. Now let us do some pranayama in sitting position. Adapt chin mudra, forceful exhalation with pulling the abdomen in. Do this practice for 2 minutes and then do Bhramari. Focus your attention between the eyebrows, touch your tongue to the upper palate and produce the humming sound. Do this for 3 minutes.
This broadcast came to you from the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.